Well, folks, cheers. The Olympics have officially come to an end in Sochi, Russia. Uh, I have to say they were quite eventful. I mean, I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but Putin managed to put off, he managed to take some peanut butter and cover up the burnt toast. Um, yeah, nothing like 60-degree weather and trying to ski and trying to keep the snow fresh. That's great. This was probably the worst idea that somehow you got lucky that you pulled it off. Anyways, what's the point of this video? Well, folks, phase one is complete. That's right. Hockey and curling were part of phase one, and then phase two is the World Cup, which we will dive into further into the video. I'm going to talk about the results, where everybody lies, and I have the final draft order for the World Cup, which starts in June. Kind of got a good year for sports, if you think about it. Yeah, even though the Packers didn't win, you had a pretty interesting Super Bowl. Well, I mean, for the fact that Peyton Manning once again showed he can't do it. And then followed by the fact that you have the Winter Olympics, which are always fun. I don't care if you don't like it or not. Winter Olympics is great, except for the piss poor showing by Andy's USA, which I personally blame you for. And now we're in March, getting close to March. We're going to head into tournament time. And then we get the baseball. And then halfway through baseball, we've got the World Cup. And then we get some more baseball. And then it's August. And it's football. So there's something there along the way to keep you interested. And that's good. Because usually February can be a time when between sports. Because it's just really college basketball or the NBA. And if you're a fan of the NBA, check yourself, because you are probably dumb. Except for the fact that the Bucks was beating the 76ers by 30 points. That in itself should be enough to close a franchise in Philadelphia. Just saying. So, let's get into it. Let's get into some results and look into curling, and then followed by hockey there. Here's the curling records here. Canada gets a clean sweep as they win both the men's and the women's. Great Britain, who had to win a playoff match to get into the tournament, won and then ended up getting this silver. Sweden, god dang it, beat China for the bronze. Thanks, China, for your big mistakes. Norway gets fifth. By the way, if you were watching the Olympics, Norway had the best pants, bar none. Andy's cocky pick of taking Denmark because he thought he saw something in them did not come true. The home team, Russia, proved that they are who they were. 8th place, Switzerland. 9th place, USA, right where we thought they would finish. John Schuster, I still say is garbage. And then Germany, who was going in being one of the worst teams, ended up being proven right. And Katie got her next pick there. By the way, next time we do curling, I might do the women's curling, only because if you would have seen Team Sweden, Russia, and especially Great Britain, hot damn, those ladies were fine. And I'm not afraid to say it with Sam being in the league now because, yep, she even saw it, and I'm going to say that she thought they were pretty fine. Katie even said, damn, to the Great Britain team. My new celebrity crush may be just E. Muirhead. Here are the disappointing hockey results. Canada, with a clean sweep of both gold medals in the men's and women's, took the gold, obviously, followed by Sweden. Finland beating Andy's USA to clean up the bronze 5-0. It was a pretty pathetic showing by Andy's USA. Not even making it into the medal round was Russia, so here's a cheers to them. Say hi to Jimmy Hoffa for us. Charlie's only team in the tournament, the Czech Republic, came in 6th. The Seattle Seahawks of international hockey, Slovenia, came in 7th. Latvia, Kara, almost pulling some major upsets. Actually, they first ever international win came against Switzerland, who got 9th. But Latvia almost took Canada to the end. It was 2-1 final, but the state goalie had 55 saves. So Latvia almost pulled the major upset there, but that was a great pick there. Sam's only showing was Austria. Slovakia came in 11th, and Bob gets an extra pick in the World Cup because he got Norway. And unlike the men's curling team, this team did not have great uniforms. So there you are, the hockey records per se. And like I said, Andy in fourth place. He has to now make Jenny a bunch of sandwiches for the draft party. So let me briefly explain the mathematical situation one more time until we get to the after phase 1 draft positioning. The first number is where they finished in curling. The second number is where they end up finishing in hockey. Now, obviously, we add those together, divided by the amount of teams they have, and that is your score. Now, Sam and Charlie only had one team, and that was in hockey because they didn't get curling, and that's why they get the extra picks in World Cup, as we'll get to a little bit further down. There were 4 ties for points as of right now. So, oh, looks like the sun's coming out. Oh, it's getting bright. Anyways, the asterisk next to the name indicates that they had a better hockey position. But remember, that's not how we're going to do the tiebreakers in the tournament there. It's going to go by most teams. So if you have more teams, you win the tiebreaker. If it's a tie, then you go to best positioning in the World Cup. I just did hockey now just to even out and kind of show you where you go. The best was me with 7 points, as you'll see, and the worst ended up being Kyle with 20 points. So only 13 points really separate first and last place. And when we get into the World Cup, as you know, 32 teams, there's going to be 32 points. It's going to be quite good. So it's still anybody's game. No one's guaranteed a spot yet. So here, let me show you the rankings so you can kind of see how you finished out and how you did. So like I said, this is really just kind of garbage. But it's just kind of how it shakes out after phase 1. In first place would be me with 7 points. John and Kara then come in second with 4.5. Andy and Eric tied up with 5. Katie and Travis tied with 5.5. Charlie comes in with 6. Sam with 7. Bob with 8. And Sam and Kyle coming in with 10. So now that the Winter Olympics are aside, I may change things up for, in 4 years when the Winter Olympics come back around. I was thinking, or what can we do to make this more interesting? And a couple ideas I'm going to run through, and even I can do for the Summer Olympics coming up in 2 years. Women's figure skating. Or, as I was told by Sam that I could do, is women's gymnastics. Or actually, no, I said women's gymnastics. Sam said let's do men's gymnastics. Because how manly is it to say my fantasy football team was determined by a bunch of dudes doing things on a mat and rings and something they call the pommel horse. But that's years away. I'm still determining next year's draft order, which is going to probably be NCAA tournament. We'll decide that later. But anyways, let's get into phase 2. Phase 2 officially starts now. March 1st, now, whatever. And that is World Cup. World Cup starts in mid-June. Kind of run it down. I don't know. I'm just going to play it out there because I don't know. World Cup is where they get 32 of what is supposed to be, the best soccer teams from around the world, regions. And you get grouped into 8 groups of 4. You play one round robin, and then you go to a tournament of 16. It happens every 4 years. It's like the Olympics of, soccer. It's a great time. And it's coming up soon, so we decided, I knew I had to incorporate the World Cup into this. So, I'm going to show you here the official draft order of who's going to pick when for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, which, by any indications, by the amount of corruption and desolation that Brazil is in, it's probably going to be just as good as the Sochi Olympics in Russia. Yeah. So here we go. Picks 1 through 8, because these were the special picks. Ding! Please flip tape over to side 2. Or basically just watch the next video. There's too much information on this one that I need to break it up into 2 videos. Yes, it was that big. I only get 15 minutes. So this one was running into 10 and the next one is just too much. So, yep, this is the end of part 1. Enjoy, folks. If you listen this far, Eric is a douchebag.